All right, and welcome back, guys. We're going to be covering something a little bit different, kind of taking a break from reviewing Tier 5 on all perks. We're going to be talking about the best way to kind of get wonder weapons in Outbreak. It's a question I've gotten a lot. A lot of people have asked me, because if you're trying to go to high rounds, especially if you want to get the Dark Ops for getting to Wave 10, and you want to go above that, because going to higher and higher rounds are going to yield you more and more crystals, so you can kind of maximize everything, you're definitely going to want to get some wonder weapons. Some of the wonder weapons are better than others in this mode. Some of them are easier to get than others in this mode, and we're going to kind of cover all of the ways you can go about getting them and kind of the quickest method to acquire that wonder weapon. That way you're able to just kind of go and immediately start kind of grinding, getting to those high levels to get XP, get some of the challenges done, or whatever you're kind of trying to grind the game for. But with that being said, we're currently on our way to hitting our goal of 40k subs. If you want to join us on that train, greatly appreciate it. Got tons of guides like this when it comes to zombies. We're really going fully in depth, kind of trying to cover anything you want to know about zombies, kind of what all the perks do in their tier 5 and a bunch of other stuff like that. Top of that, if you're looking for amazing shirts to wear while you're grinding this game, while you're grinding camos, whatever you're doing in Call of Duty, check the link in the description below to find awesome shirts like this. All right, now that we've gone ahead and spawned an Outbreak, I'm going to go ahead and tell you one of the easier methods to get wonder weapons, and essentially it's going to be the events around the map. So you can see this little dragon icon here. This is going to be a little event where you've got to feed the dragon, and it's going to give you kind of a high reward loot tier chest, and in that chest you have a chance of getting a wonder weapon. On top of that, you kind of wanted to look for this little lightning symbol here. With this, it's going to spawn in a bunch of enemies when you go to this, and once you kill off all of those enemies in that area, it's going to allow you to open the chest, and in that chest is once again high tier loot and potential to drop a ray gun and whatnot. On top of that, there's also the skull symbol here, and if you go here, you will find kind of a body on the ground, usually with a radio or something that you can interact with, and then once you interact with that, it's going to spawn in a boss, and you'll be able to see where the boss is by going back to your menu. You'll see that same symbol. It's just going to have moved a little bit. If you go there, there's going to be panzers and stuff you can kill, and stuff with high tier loot as well. All of the bosses that you kill in this have a chance of dropping the Ray K, the ray gun, and all of that good stuff. However, it does seem that your chance of getting these greatly improve the higher round you go to. So I kind of wait to go to a little bit of a higher round before you start doing all these. Obviously, you can do them now and try to get them early on, but I've had way better luck waiting till about wave 3 or 4 to go ahead and get these. Now, instead of doing these kind of little events around the map, another amazing way to get the wonder weapon is doing trials. Just like in any other one of the modes, trials exist in this. You're able to do the trials, and in this they seem to give you a really high chance of getting the die machine, and the die machine in this mode is very strong. The best combinations of weapons to probably have in this mode would be the die machine and the ray gun. The ray gun for obviously doing mass damage to bosses and stuff like that, and the die machine to use when you're out of ammo are just something that you need that can continuously do damage. Obviously, when you're using the sucking ability of the die, you can just continuously do that until you hit full ammo. But if you hit full ammo, just shoot the shot and you'll be alive. And with like kind of maxed out stuff, especially with using a ring of fire, the die machine's very strong, and in my opinion, it's the single easiest wonder weapon to just go and get, because the trials are really easy. You can start doing them on wave 1, and like I said, most of the time that I start doing trials, I pretty much get the die machine right away. It takes 2 or 3 trials, get the die machine, and that alone is going to be able to carry you to the higher rounds, kind of get to wave 3 or 4 using the die, then start doing all the little events around the map to try to get the Ray K or the ray gun. And that, in my opinion, is probably the single best way to kind of set up an Outbreak. Essentially, on round 1 or 2, you want to kind of start doing trials. Go ahead, get it all the way to legendary before you redeem it. And once you get it legendary, if you do not get the die machine, do another trial, get it maxed out. I know you're going to be spending a little bit of time, especially some of the trials are kind of dumb. I know there's one that's like parachute, stay parachute in the air while using the jump pads. That one's just kind of a time waster because you're not killing zombies. You're not really getting anything for that. But if the timer runs out, you can always just start another trial. Not a big deal. Usually the best ones to go for are the ones that involve getting kills, because those are kind of the easiest to kind of handle. And while you're getting kills, obviously you're still getting XP, you're getting weapon camos and a bunch of other stuff. So those are the trials you really want to look out for. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose the trial you get, but the trial timers are huge. You get 5 minutes to do a trial in this mode compared to the others. It does seem like they take a little bit longer to fill up than what they did on D Machine and FIREBASE-Z. But still, probably in my opinion, the single best way to go about getting a wonder weapon. Doing trials is pretty much the only way I go about getting wonder weapons on FIREBASE-Z. I know you can do the buildable, the little quest line for it, but I don't really like messing with the dartboard step and doing all of those steps when you can just do a few separate trials. And usually while playing FIREBASE-Z, you can get the Ray K in about your first 3 trials, which is way quicker in my opinion than sitting there trying to build it or trying to get it out of the box. And talking about the box, I would not recommend using the box or anything like that to try to get wonder weapons in this mode. Maybe if you're on a really high wave round and you just haven't had any luck killing zombies. But in this mode, points are very precious, and wasting your points on the box when you can get a wonder weapon for free is just not a really good way to set up. If you, especially on earlier rounds when the odds of getting a wonder weapon are really low, you don't want to be sitting there kind of just wasting all of your points buying the box to get a wonder weapon you're probably not going to get. Because those points would be way better spent kind of packing your weapon, getting a really strong ammo mod, and getting all of your perks. And if you're just continuously wasting points on the box, you're not going to have the points needed to go ahead and buy those other stuff you need. Whereas by doing the trials, I know it takes a few minutes, especially depending if you get a bad one. Doing that a couple times, you should be able to get the die machine, and then after that, go through a few rounds, do some of the trials around the map, hope you get a wonder weapon, and just rinse and repeat. And another really good thing is while you're doing these trials, while you're kind of doing the little events around the map, you're going to be getting points, so you're going to be able to buy your perks easier as well. So not only is this method kind of faster, in my opinion, in terms of being able to get a wonder weapon, on top of that, you're not going to be wasting a bunch of points buying the box, so you have a lot more points to buy perks, and you're on top of that going to be getting extra points you wouldn't have gotten because you're going out doing these challenges. And it's also going to get you a bunch of salvage. When you do these challenges and open these loot boxes, you get a ton of salvage out of these. So now you're gonna have a ton of salvage to be able to buy gear with and a bunch of other stuff. So definitely recommend trying this method. If you're constantly buying the box for it, like I said, look for these little events around the map, do these events, and definitely do trials. Trials are such a great way to get a bunch of stuff. You get free perks and all that stuff, and it takes a little bit of time, but it's not that bad. You also get intel, so if you're trying to get all the challenges and all that, really amazing for that as well. But yeah, with that, guys, that's really my full guide for this. So just kind of look out for high loot tier enemies, look for the events, and kind of do the trials. And by doing that, you should be able to get a ton of points. You should be able to get the wonder weapons you need. And once you get the die machine or the Ray K, you should easily be able to coast to the higher and higher rounds while playing Outbreak and get tons of crystals and a bunch of other stuff like that. If you guys have a better method that you guys have found, definitely leave it in the comments below. Like I said, every time I read the comments, there's always helpful people down there leaving kind of feedback in ways that they found were better and stuff that helped them. So if there's something you think I missed out on this video that could definitely help people, leave it below. And if you're looking for extra help, look in the comments. Tons of helpful people down there, always adding stuff to the conversation. But yeah, with that, boys, we're gonna go ahead and end this here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.